on a strike. Police officer opens fire and injures colleagues in Kisii. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Ivan Sodhiambo. I am IMBINDA Masi. Welcome to the broadcast. President William Ruto has today presided over a police pass-out parade held at the Kenya Police Training College in Kiganjo, Nyeri County, where 2,881 police officers graduated. The president promised a number of reforms in the National Police Service aimed at increasing the efficiency of the security sector.
Joined by Interior CS Professor Kithure Kindiki, Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome, and Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga, President William Ruto presided over a pass-out parade for 2,881 new police officers who graduated from the Kenya Police Training College in Kiganjo, Nyeri County. The president promised that the government will keep investing in the police service to boost their service delivery.
Government remains committed to enhancing its investment in the institutions, in policies and strategies, infrastructure, and equipment necessary to modernize the police service, maintain and enhance professional standards and effectiveness and efficiency.
Ruto lauded the establishment of the Police and Prison Services Task Force that was sworn in yesterday, which he says will be instrumental in addressing challenges facing the police. The task force will, among other duties, ensure affordable housing for the police.
And I want to ask the leadership of our disciplined forces, from the army through the police, all the way to our prison officers, to be in consultation with the Ministry for Housing so that we can fast track and prioritize the delivery of housing for our men in uniform.
The president also promised that the government will provide a health insurance scheme for police officers and their families before the end of this month.
2 fully equipped National Police Service hospitals are complete and will soon be ready to serve members of the force, including their families. This will ensure that the police finally have access to priority, dedicated, and appropriate facilities for physical and mental wellness.
The government will further enhance investments in the National Forensic Labs to ensure it has modern equipment. Ruto has also instructed the leadership of the National Police Service to provide the new team with good quality uniform. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has said that the institutions in the security sector will work towards ensuring tranquility in the whole nation. The Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, has expressed confidence in your police team, saying they will serve responsibly.
Officers, institutions in this sector will work harmoniously and in synergy to ensure we support you to realize peace, security, and tranquility in our country, on the basis of which our economy will grow.
Your Excellency, ningependa kutaja ya kwamba you have patriotic officers. Members of the National Police Service, they are officers who love their country. So nakuhakikishia kila wakati they are ready to kuchunga mali ya nchi, mali ya wananchi na kulinda wananchi wetu.
After taking a unanimous oath of office, the new team will now join the disciplined forces to discharge their mandate. Joseph Kess, KUTV.
Nairobi Metropolitan Governor Johnson Sakaja has requested Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to solve their issues without involving the public in the disputed plan to kick out matatus from the Central Business District CBD and crack down on nightclubs. Sakaja claims he has so much respect for the second in command and is not at war with him.
In an interview today, January 10th, the governor said that he respects the deputy president so much since he is in a higher position than him. Sakaja retreated that he is not in a fight with the deputy president, adding that together with Gachagua they should discuss their issues away from the public eye and avoid creating an impression of an inexistent war. This comes after the deputy president on Sunday asked matatu operators and city business people to ignore Sakaja's directive and continue with their businesses, assuring them of government protection against a plan he argues will suffocate the economy of Nairobi. Gachagua on December 20th also claimed that he mobilized Kikuyus to vote for Sakaja, and he added that any decision that Sakaja makes, they must sit down and discuss, which Sakaja termed as victimhood and lies to use the project for political mileage. The dispute between the two comes few days after Nairobi governor pronouncements to ban nightclub operations in residential areas and restricting entry of public service vehicles to the Central Business District, which also attracted the attention of Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, who asked the deputy president to keep off from the running of city affairs. Mutunga Joseph, KUTV, Nairobi.
When presiding over the swearing-in of 26 chief officers, Governor Wavinya Ndeti said the campaign time has come to an end and everyone should focus on development, urging those still in the campaign mood to move on and let leaders serve the people.
Was Governor Wavinya Ndeti, when presiding over the swearing-in of 26 chief officers to serve Machakos residents, has congratulated the chief officers and asked them to work closely with the county executive committee members in their respective departments in order to enhance service delivery.
Na niwaambie kazi imefanya nini? Kazi imeanza. Mumechaguliwa through competitive process. Siasa imeisha.
The county boss has, however, asked political leaders who are still in the campaign mood to move on, citing that campaign time has come to an end and everybody should focus on development. The governor said she would never be scared by her critics, whom she says are still in the campaign era, adding that her interest is serving the people of Machakos County who elected her to office.
Wakitaka siasa tutapiga 2027. Tunaelewana? Tuingia kwa ofisi, tufanye kazi. Here I have good brains and I know it.
Wavinya cautioned the chief officers not to be scared by any of the political drums, but remain firm and focused on their duties, and further praised the county MCAs for firmly standing behind her and ignoring waves of temptations.
If I could work with less than, I started with 45 million when I was a member of parliament. I went to, I think it was 70. By the time I was leaving as a member of parliament, I was getting 85 million shillings. And I became #1 on utilization of taxpayers' money.
Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi, on his part, cautioned those engaged in political gossips, even after campaigns are over, to change their minds and opt to do other important things.
I know and I know and I know and I know and I know in my heart you can do it. Twende kazi.
The leaders have urged fellow Machakos leaders to join hands in serving the people of Machakos and requesting those still held up in campaign mood to allow those in office to do their job as they wait for the 2027 elections. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
The ongoing marking of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Examination KCSE papers was stopped indefinitely after teachers involved in the exercise downed their tools, decrying poor working conditions and low wages. The teachers also complained about newly introduced precautionary measures and the process of marking during the Tuesday, January 10th exercise. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu and Principal Secretary Belio Kipsang showed up at St. Francis Mangu Girls High School in response to the situation that had shown signs of getting out out of hand, ordering the teachers to leave the premises immediately. According to the tutors, the measure slowed down the process of marking, hence taking them longer than expected to finish tasks. The teachers were marking the Christian Religious Education CRE paper at the time the strike kicked off. Grade 6 pupils who sat for the inaugural Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA national exams last year are expected to join junior secondary school this January, with the Ministry of Education starting assessment of primary schools to approve of their capacity to host the pupils. In Mombasa County, parents have been cautioned against schools advertising junior secondary school, as no school has yet received approval from the government to offer junior secondary school.
County Director of Education, Peter Magiri, has asked parents to be cautious of schools advertising that they have been approved to offer junior secondary school ahead of the reopening of schools this January. Addressing the media at his office at Uhuru Nakazi building, Magiri said that no school, public or private, had so far received approval from the government through the Ministry of Education to offer junior secondary school.
Mpaka sasa hakuna shule ambayo imesajiliwa. Kwa sababu gani? Serikali imetoa mwongozo wa kukagua hiyo mashule. Na ndio nimesema ilianzishwa jana kila pahali, everywhere in the country jana. Kwa hivyo wale wazazi ama wale walimu wanatoa hiyo miongozo ama joining instructions, tunaomba wangoje. Wazazi tunawaomba wangoje.
According to Magiri, the Ministry of Education has rolled out a nationwide inspection of primary schools, both private and public, to ascertain their preparedness to host junior secondary school pupils.
Well, there is an assessment tool that has been issued by the Cabinet Secretary through the Department of Quality Assurance. It's the one that we are administering. And we are going to visit every school. The officers will go to the school in person. They will capture all the relevant details that are required.
Mombasa County has 97 public primary schools, with the number of private schools exceeding 400, but only 280 were registered as examination centers during the inaugural Kenya Primary School Education Assessment KPSEA national exams. A total of 12,592 pupils sat for the exams in public primary schools, with about 22,000 sitting the exams in private schools in the county. About 1.6 million pupils who sat the KPSEA exams in the country are expected to report to junior secondary school on January 30th, 2023. Jacqueline Wanjiru, KUTV.
Matungu constituency Member of Parliament Peter Nabulindo asks the government through the Ministry of Education to increase the number of slots of teachers recruitment by Teachers Service Commission. The MP was speaking yesterday in Matungu, Kakamega County during an event of flagging off of technical, vocational and educational training students sponsored through his personal initiative dubbed Mashinani Initiative. Take a look.
It was all pomp and color in Matungu constituency, marked with a show of cultural prowess, an event where the area Member of Parliament Peter Nabulindo flagged off students to join technical, vocational and educational training colleges, supported by his own initiative, dubbed Mashinani Initiative, that seeks to improve literacy skills and empower constituents. While addressing the residents, he asked the government to consider adding more slots to teachers' recruitment, saying that the slots are unsatisfactory, especially for Kakamega County.
Na tutazidi kama sisi wabunge, tutazidi kuomba serikali ipeane nafasi zaidi. Ipeane nafasi zaidi ili tuweze kuandika walimu wengi. Hizi shule zetu hazina walimu wa serikali. Kwa wingi wazazi ndio wanalipa walimu kwa boards. Na hiyo sasa inarudisha masomo yetu chini sana.
Teachers Service Commission TSC is targeting to recruit a total of 1,558 teachers in Kakamega County, to which 1,449 is expected to be posted in junior secondary schools, while 109 to be posted in primary schools. According to Johnson Wamukwa, the director of Mashinani Initiative that sponsored 200 students last year, looking forward to see 185 students joining TVET colleges this year. The program sources its funds from well-wishers.
Hiyo pesa hata itoshi ward moja yenye serikali imetuma, ama yenye serikali inatarajia kutuma. Mimi ninatarajia 30 million ndio niweze kucover the entire constituency vile tulifanya ile mara nyingine. Lakini hii mwaka wanasema wataleta 5 peke yake. 5 peke yake hata itoshi ward moja. Mimi nitafanya namna gani?
The MP asked government to increase NGCDF location in order to be able to support more students from vulnerable families to acquire education for self-reliance in future.
Hawa wenye wameenda TVET colleges kwa upande tofauti kuanzia 2016 ni karibu 560, ukiongeza wa leo ambao ni 185 ambao mheshimiwa anawa flag off officially, tunakaribia wanafunzi 800.
Also assured Matungu constituency residents more support, especially in the education sector, adding that his leadership will establish more TVET institutions in the area for easy access to tertiary learning. Kumu Modaki for KUTV Primetime News.
Now, as the schools are preparing for reopening in the next 2 weeks for first term, private schools in Narok have urged the government to also consider them and support them, even as they support the government to implement CBC. Gidraf Ikenye, head of Blessed Narok School, say the government should also fund the private schools just like public schools so as to ensure for uniformity in quality education. The school head say that the move will also assist greatly in the implementation of the new competency-based curriculum, urging the state to encourage public-private partnerships so investors can provide infrastructure and employ teachers.
Remember, all of us as a nation have come from a turbulent moment of COVID-19, and therefore, even the private sector was hard. It was hard hit by this pandemic. And so all of us are trying to come up, all of us are trying to recover. And so I would urge the government to consider.
It's 20 minutes past 9 and we are taking a short break right here at the KUTV Primetime News. We'll be back with more updates. Keep your feedback coming at KUTV_Kenya at Mercy IMBINDA. The hashtag is KUTV Primetime News. Stay with us.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
All Africa, we're a software company based out of Nairobi, Kenya, and we build customer-centric solutions that helps businesses communicate effectively with their customers. So the first solution that we offer is a VoIP solution. So the VoIP solution is basically a call center that allows you to push up to between 1,000 to 1,000,000 concurrent calls at a go. So that's either if people are calling you in or whether you're calling people out. The advantage that we've been able to also see with this is people can work remotely. So if, for example, you're in Nairobi and you're managing a team in Mombasa or in Kisumu, then you have full access.
to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Lola is an app that gives you a chance to watch videos, listen to audios, and read articles wherever you are for free. Motivational stories, dramas, campus life, technology, lifestyle, adventure, sports, academics, jobs, entertainment, and more. Download Lola now on Play Store. All you need, you got Lola.
We're glad you're still watching KUTV Primetime News. Welcome back. A police officer and one security guard have been left nursing injuries after a colleague opened fire on them in Kisii. According to Kisii General OCPD Amos Ambassa, another officer guarding a different bank called to inform him about the incident at around 10 a.m. Mr. Ambassa also added that the rogue officer was on bank escort duty and that he attacked his colleagues using the firearm he was armed with. Investigations about the incident are ongoing. Now, this happens hours after 4 policemen were arrested attempting to rob off 2 million shillings from a businessman in Nairobi. Communication Authority of Kenya Board Chair Meru Wambui Mungai on Tuesday, January 10th, walked to freedom after the Anti-Corruption Court allowed the Director of Public Prosecutions to withdraw the 2.2 billion shillings tax evasion case against her. Anti-Corruption Magistrate Felix Kombo decision came after the Director of Public Prosecution informed that the court had the accused had reached an agreement with the Kenya Revenue Authority. Wambui and her daughter had been charged as director of Parma Holdings Limited of alleged failure to pay taxes amounting to 2.2 billion Kenyan shillings. Senator for Kiambu County, Karungo Wathangwa, has advised the leaders of Meru to sit down at the negotiating table in order to bring development and key services to the people of Meru. At the same time, Deputy Governor of Meru County, Mutuma Ethingia, and head of the Methodist Church in the country, Joseph Ntombura, have thanked the leaders led by President William Ruto for their efforts to unite both sides.
Watu wa Meru wanasema asante kwa rais wetu na deputy president, hata maongeo ambayo yanaendelea kuleta amani Meru, kuuzisha viongozi, leadership ya Meru County Assembly, kuuzisha all the 9 MPs wa Meru, kuuzisha women rep na senator na all the players wa siasa za Meru. Tunashukuru.
Superconductors are substances that allow electricity to pass through them without resistance, helping machines run faster and save energy. But some of the most effective ones work only when they stay super cold. Scientists are hunting for higher temperature superconductors for the practical advances they might bring. Shaylee Schlender now reports.
Medical machines that scan for disease, superfast trains that float above the tracks. They're possible thanks to superconductors, materials that can carry electric current without resistance. Most superconductors must be supercooled to about 100 times colder than room temperature, which requires rare and costly liquid helium. Joe Eck, a tinkerer in Kansas, wants to find materials that superconduct at room temperature.
If we could achieve room temperature superconductivity, there'd be no cooling required at all.
With room temperature superconductors, electric cars could drive longer without recharging. Computers would be even smaller.
National supercomputer sizes that fill up whole rooms could be put into homes.
Some scientists have reportedly created room temperature superconductors that can work at extreme pressures achieved in a lab. Other scientists dispute the findings, questioning whether the high-pressure superconductors actually operate at all. In his search for warmer superconductors, Eck mixes powders.
Bismuth, scandium, cadmium oxide is dangerous stuff.
He bakes them in his tabletop kiln. At the Los Alamos National Lab, Dean Peterson is familiar with Eck's work. Peterson, a scientist, says room temperature superconductors would be so efficient that the world would have energy to spare.
It would be the golden fleece everybody's been searching for the last 70 years.
In Boulder, Colorado, Danko van der Laan is making cables containing rare earth metals that superconduct when cooled by liquid nitrogen to about 4 times cooler than room temperature.
To have superconductors work at something that's only 4 times colder than room temperature, it's a huge step.
One pencil-thin superconducting cable packs as much current as a platter-wide bundle of conventional cables. These and other quests to find warmer superconductors may one day lead to electrically powered passenger planes and compact fusion reactors. Shelley Schlender for VOA News, Boulder, Colorado.
National security forces have intervened to restore order in Brazil after an estimated 4,000 supporters of Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro, who did not accept the results of the October elections, took over and vandalized the Congress, the Supreme Court and President's Palace in the Brazilian capital Brasilia. Edgar Marcial in Sao Paulo now reports.
During Brazil's first day of the year, a crowd in the streets of Brasilia came out to see Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva inaugurated as the country's new president. 1 week later, crowds witnessed a different scene on the same street, an attempted coup. An estimated 4,000 supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro invaded the Congress building, the Supreme Court, and Planalto Palace, the president's official workplace. The few police officers who were supposed to provide security were chased away. Rioters smashed windows, overturned furniture, and broke into historic buildings. The anti-Lula demonstrators filmed the destruction as it unfolded while attacking the president's residence, invading the Senate, breaking works of art, and setting fire to the Chamber of Deputies. The main entrance of Brazil's Supreme Court building was destroyed. Hundreds of rioters were arrested, but only after President Lula signed a decree for federal forces to intervene. Video posted on social media show police officers walking and driving around the line of demonstrators towards the attack site. Here, police appeared to be standing by after a large crowd of rioters entered the buildings. President Lula, who was not in Brasilia at the time, set up a crisis committee and said he will investigate and arrest those involved.
They are fascists representing everything abominable. They are true vandals who destroyed everything they found in front of them. All the people who did this will be found and punished. Democracy guarantees the right to freedom, but it also demands that people respect the institutions.
Bolsonaro, who has been in the U.S. state of Florida since he left power, distanced himself from the attacks on social media. He wrote, "Peaceful demonstrations, as allowed by law, are part of democracy. However, attacks on and invasions of public buildings as occurred today, as well as those practiced by the left in 2013 and 2017, defy the rule of law." Bolsonaro said the government has linked him to the riots without evidence. Commentators say the former president could come under investigation.
Jair Messias Bolsonaro is one of those responsible for this attack. He is seen as an intellectual mentor because dozens of times he suggested this type of action during his tenure, not to mention the silence, not admitting defeat after the elections. It fueled in its supporters a feeling that the coup was possible.
National police forces and the Brazilian army have assumed command of Brasilia's security until the end of the month. The Brazilian Congress, which was in recess, called an emergency meeting on Monday. For Edgar Marcial, Miguel Amaya, VOA News.
Czech voters are preparing to choose a new president with support for Ukraine and relations with Russia and China among the key issues. As Henry Ridgwell reports, 3 candidates are neck on neck in the polls.
A familiar face on the ballot, Andrej Babiš, the former Czech Prime Minister, is now running for president, and he received a boost just days before the election. Babiš was acquitted of fraud by a Prague court Monday in a case involving $2 million in European Union subsidies. He described the prosecution as a political process.
I think it is good news for the whole Czech Republic, for all citizens of the Czech Republic, that we live in the rule of law.
Babiš is seen as a populist and a political ally of the outgoing president Miloš Zeman. He has criticised government and EU policies on issues like migration and support for Ukraine. That has won him support, but has also energised his critics. Thousands took to the streets of Prague Sunday to demand a more pro-Western president.
For 20 years, we've had presidents like Mr. Zeman in this country, for whom we might only be ashamed. Their pro-Russian, pro-Chinese opinions devalue us.
Babiš's rivals include Petr Pavel, a retired Czech general seen here in 2016 when he was chairman of the NATO Military Committee. His campaign slogan is "Bring order and calm." The third leading candidate is Danuša Nerudová, a former economist and university rector who promises a progressive pro-European presidency.
Both Petr Pavel and Danuša Nerudová are highly committed to the Czech Republic as a liberal democracy and also to its role in liberal ordering more widely.
The president does not have executive powers, but analysts say a Babiš victory could make life difficult for the current government, which has taken a strongly pro-Ukrainian stance following Russia's invasion of the country.
He criticized the Czech support of Ukraine because in his view it's too much support, too much help to Ukraine and also to Ukrainian refugees. But I don't think that Babiš could be somebody like Zeman in the past, pro-Russian and pro-Chinese president, because his business interests are connected with the Western and Central Europe.
The Czech Republic and Slovakia have just marked the 30-year anniversary of the so-called Velvet Divorce, the peaceful split of Czechoslovakia following the fall of communism. For some voters, the historical resonance is significant, says Talis.
What lessons the Czech Republic has learned from history about how to stand up to autocracies, about what is worthwhile about democracy, about how Ukrainians have revived memories of why freedoms and rights are worth fighting and dying for, what is actually liberty all about, and where is the hope of that progressive future.
The first round of voting begins January 13th. If no candidate secures an outright majority, the top 2 go through to a second round 2 weeks later. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.
I beg your pardon, is pronounced as Czech. Now we're taking another short break right here at the KTV Primetime News. We'll be back with more. Keep watching.
Tunakula usiku, tuachane na break kwanza, tuende lunch. Chapo. Ndio kama ngimo.
Rasha piga shada kuna giza, siki nice tujinise weke story. Kata maji pia shada liko nasionikosa msupo si stress, kama rende kisha basi nipe. Najua ni
big up. Brother, you are Adliba, big up. Sis, big up. Shows, Mamba, big ups. Oh yeah, what's your whole team? Okay, my principal, big up.
Hello everyone, this is the new chapter of Let's Be Fit. I'll be host DiCaplo. I'm here to give you various workouts. I'll be having different trainers. We'll have Zumba classes, we'll have aerobics classes, we'll have box exercise, we'll have kata box. Just the show comes every Thursday from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Keep it locked, make sure we keep fit, and that's it from me to you.
Welcome to Engine, an educational show for all the family. Get ready for some exciting learning and fun teaching.
How does a plane fly over the sea? How do the planets float so weightlessly? Let's go! It's technology. Let's go! Science, you and me. Let's go! We're learning every day. Let's go! Engine leads the way.
Welcome back. Let's look into the sports world. Football Kenya Federation FKF has suspended Women's Premier League side Trans Nzoia Falcons for a month following claims of sexual exploitation and harassment in the club. FKF arrived at the decision after holding a crisis meeting with players, members of the team's technical bench, and officials from Trans Nzoia County Government at Kitale Showground. The meeting follows an incident on Saturday during which the team's players were thrown out of their residential camp after a league match where, according to the club assistant secretary Noah Wakoli, the move was as a result of numerous cases of indiscipline by the players towards the technical bench and club officials. Kenya Women Premier League team Bunyoro Starlets' fate hangs in the air as the team is facing financial constraints, as revealed by the team manager Zachariah Amahanga, who says the team is now depending on well-wishers. Bunyoro are scheduled to play against former champions Thika Queens tomorrow at Thika Stadium, a journey that is challenged by inadequate money to cover transport and accommodation expenses. The National Olympic Committee of Kenya will launch the third edition of the Elite Youth Camp on Wednesday at the Merisho School in Isinya, Kajiado County. After concluding the training for coaches who will handle the juniors, 30 coaches will oversee the 10-day program after being equipped on how to better handle train and manage budding athletes. The ambitious Elite Youth Development Program is for athletes for ages between 12 and 18 years and is geared towards preparations for the various youth games scheduled for this year and ensuring junior athletes' smooth transition into the senior cadre. And that story brings us to a wrap right here at the KU TV Primetime News. Many thanks for joining us tonight, and special thanks to everyone that has made this bulletin a success. You can keep your feedback coming at KUTV_Kenya, at Mercy Imbinda. The hashtag is Primetime News. Now you can get this bulletin on YouTube at KUTV Kenya or on our website at www.kutv.co.ke. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Evans Odhiambo. I am Imbinda Mercy. Have a good night.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading tech